Hey, comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And guys, as usual, you're with me, Mike Spider Slayer. Guys, today we're going to be talking about the Court of Owls, which is all the way also known as Batman and Robin issue 23.2. Now, before we get into that, just want to give you guys an update. Just in case you ask, why aren't you doing the Harley Quinn issue? I will be doing that review on Dark Avenger Inc., so stay tuned for that as well as you're going to see a version of a Walking Dead review. You're going to see a Star Wars issue 9 review, which is up right now. And then you're going to see a Sidekick issue number 2 review as well. So stay tuned for those videos. Like I said, Star Wars issue 9 is up currently. So, with that being said, let's jump into this review, which is Batman and Robin 23.2 Court of the Owls. So, Villains Month is now in full swing. We're in the second week release of books, and at first I wasn't going to get this book, but then I said, well, you know what? I like the cover. It looks pretty awesome. It's kind of twisted, kind of like haunted like type of cover, a little eerie. And when you look at the cover for yourself in real person, you can see some of the pictures are floating out in the front of you, and you can see the female character just looks real creepy. So this is a cool cover. I really enjoyed it, but I was kind of skeptical about the story and what it's going to represent, if it's going to be boring or what right away. And then the other thing I thought of was, okay, well, Court of Owls probably should be tied into Talon. And let's just say I was right by the time we get to the end of this book. This book is written by James Tynion IV, and the artist is George Lucas. Well, not the Star Wars George Lucas, but this George Lucas. And we can see in this title that the art is really ink heavy, really dark, gloomy, kind of fits the way the world is in the DC universe in a way. But they want to give you this eerie, creepy, scary feeling. And I think that's what this book does here. It succeeds in that. And the art, I thought, again, just fit the book. So what did I think of the story? Well, I thought the story was pretty good. It explained itself really nice. It kind of ties into everything that's going on in Forever Evil right now, where some of these villain books don't. But basically, what's going on is the book opens up back in Gotham in 1974, and you get to see that there's this police chief who is the head of the police department, and he's in panic. And you can see that he's aware that the court is kind of after him, and he's like, "Oh, it doesn't mean anything. I don't know what's going on." And so he's like freaking out, and his son just comes around. He's like, "Daddy," he's like, "What?" He's like, I learned a rhyme today." And he's like, "Oh, that's fine, Harry." He goes, "How did it go?" And he goes, "Beware the court of owls that watches all the time." And he's like, "No." "Ruling Gotham from a shadowed perch behind. Granite and lime, they watch you at your hearth, they watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word of them, or they'll send the talon for your head." And you have that like creepy Uri music you can hear in the background. And the police chief is just like, "Where'd you hear that? Where'd you hear that?" So as the story comes along, at the end of it, at the end of this particular like mini short story here, you get to see a Talon. So as the issue goes along, you get to see that. You saw that um, Gotham is in peril, because of Forever Evil, and you can see a Court of Owl, a father and a daughter. They're both part of the Court of Owls, and they're discussing things with each other. And the father's telling the daughter how the court has been around for years and years, and against all odds, they've risen up to take control of Gotham. And it goes again back into stories from 1974, another story how it talks about a mayor and how the court took over the mayor, and then of course the Talon comes, and then again it goes back to the girl and the father, and then it goes to another story which takes place in 1891, and you see a person who's in charge of the printing press who can press stories about the Court of the Owls to expose them. And the wife is worried, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." And then at the end of it all, you see a Talon from back then, and you get to see him hang the guy who's in charge of the printing press. And so all these stories are told. It even goes back to 1862, where we get a Talon who is the name of which his name is the Butcher, who just killed people and didn't follow the Court of Owls law of who they're supposed to kill. And finally, at the end of this issue, you get to see them go into the bottom, the depths of the actual court of where everything began, and we get to see that one of the fellow courts, or whatever it is, whatever she is, was against bringing the first one back, which was interesting. This is the first court or first Talon that they've ever come across, I guess, that started, or whatever I'm trying to say here. But again, it's the first Talon, and they're going to unleash it so they can help or save the city of Gotham. So interesting stuff here. And of course, by the end of the issue, it says find out in the pages of Talon. So if you want to find out who this first Talon is, you have to read the next issue of Talon, which I thought marketing-wise is a genius idea. If you're not a fan of Talon and you haven't read it before, this was a good story to drag you into that series, because you know the whole time they're sitting there bringing you down to the bottom of the basement, going to the depths of the city, and they bring out this, you know, they want to get to this first Talon to help save the city, and you don't get to see that Talon. It's like, oh, I want to see it. So I'm probably going to wind up buying that next issue just to find out what's going on. So technically, this really should have been Talon issue, whatever Talon is on at this point. Because it really didn't have to do with Batman and Robin's enemies or whatnot. However, it was still an entertaining issue. I enjoyed it. It was definitely a surprise. Didn't expect it to be so good. I liked that creepiness, the eeriness of it, and the suspense that it gave at the end. It was a real cliffhanger. So it was a surprise for me, and I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. I really, really enjoyed it. So guys, tell me if you bought this one. Tell me your thoughts of it. Do you read Talon? Is it a decent series? So guys, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0, and into the next comic book review. This is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Take care, everyone. See you real soon.